Hi, my name is Delilah Yick, and I'm a junior at Valencia High School. And last March, I contracted the Epstein-Barr virus and was diagnosed with mononucleosis, more commonly known as mono. Now, mono can completely drain your energy sources. It leaves you with brain fog and fatigue. And most people will take weeks or even months off of work, activities, and school to sleep, rest, and recover. But as many high school students know, March is approximately 2 months before AP season starts. So for me, sleep wasn't an option. I could make this talk about the importance of sleep for teenagers. I could blabble how we all need to get 12 hours of sleep per night. And I'm sure that's a talk my parents and my doctors would love for me to give. But I want to look at this more holistically. Because realistically, I know what it's like to be a teenager in the hustle culture of the 21st century. I have had my energy depleted by a disease, and yet I forced myself to scavenge for more. So the question is raised of how did we get here? How did we build this societal competition of sleep deprivation? And there's no simple answer. It's very difficult to answer any questions about an entire society. All I know is that we have created a world in where it's worth more to get a 1600 on the SAT than it is to get 8 hours of sleep per night. From a high school perspective, it might seem like it's all about the academics, the athletics, and the activities, but in reality, it's about the relationships that you build with your teachers, your peers, and your community. But when you're all competing to be in the top 10% of students in the nation, that might look a little different. Out of the approximately 48,000 students who applied to Stanford in the class of 2024, only about 2,000 of them got in. When you apply that ratio to a friend group, it makes sense why so many of these students in rigorous high-level classes struggle to build meaningful connections. We've created a community of cutthroat competition for our students. And in many cases, sleep is the common and the easy sacrifice. And last May, at the height of my mono, I experienced a lot of judgment from my peers for sleeping instead of studying. And any not up to par grade I got could be blamed on spending too much time hitting the hay and not hitting the books. But what happens when you get a disease like mono, something so completely out of your control? There's not much that you can do besides drinking a Celsius a day. But there's no medal you get to wear at graduation for least number of sleep gotten in a semester. We need to separate this sleep competition from all our other accolades and achievements because it's bringing our entire generation down. Now, taking a step back, let's be real here. I 100% play into this hyper competition. I will be the first to sacrifice a couple hours of sleep for some more time on an assignment. And as much as I hate to admit it, in the past year, mono has been a comfort for me. That even if I didn't have the best grades or the most prestigious internship, that I still had my mono to keep me relevant, to give me a reason to be special, regardless of what else was happening in the world, because that gave me an excuse to rest. That gave me an excuse to sleep for the first time. But it shouldn't be that way. I shouldn't need mono to be my reason for sleeping. And our generation gets a lot of slack for being lazy. But I'd argue we're not lethargic, rather we're exhausted. As my mono worsened and my health declined, I felt myself getting physically, mentally, and emotionally exhausted. Teenagers are supposed to get 8 to 10 hours of sleep a night, but how often is that realistic? With all the pressure that's put onto us by society and by ourselves, with all the homework, the activities, the programs, we don't have time for any more than 4 to 5 hours. And how can we be expected to give up our goals, our hopes, and our dreams just in the name of a couple more hours of sleep? And yet from a mental health standpoint, getting 4 to 5 hours of sleep per night is unjustifiable. We've been seeing a decrease in hours of sleep gotten and an increase in anxiety. And there's a strong correlation between the two. We have taught our children that the only way to succeed is by pushing themselves to the brink, by working themselves to the bone. Yet how exhausting is that? To believe that the only way you can succeed is if you suffer. And I needed Mono to teach me the lesson that it's okay to sleep, that it's not shameful to rest, but it shouldn't be that way. We as a society and as a culture need to relearn and rethink the way that we talk about sleep. We need to place it back on the pedestal where it belongs, right next to other basic human necessities like food, water, and shelter. So, for fear of being cliche, I implore you, really rethink the way that you think about sleep. Don't view it as lazy, embarrassing, or shameful, but instead as an important part of being the person that you were meant to be. Go to sleep, please. Thank you.